How you doing, guys? It's Richie. Pulled out Frankenstein from Skybound Comics, published by Image. Now, this came out a year or two ago. Great looking cover. I've really enjoyed this. It's a classic take on the old Frankenstein story with like kind of a different twist. So let's pop it open and see what we got. Michael Walsh, writer, artist, cover. Tony Marie Griffin, colorist. Becca Carey, letterer. Starts off with this kid in a graveyard talking to his father's grave. Now, his father had been killed, and now he's all alone. And this is like really sad. And the kid's, mourning. But he hears some people coming, so he runs and hides behind a grave, and it turns out it's Dr. Frankenstein and his idiot helper. So they're digging up dead bodies for body parts for Frankenstein's monster. The hands of a father. So the brain was damaged, so they like the hands on this corpse. So they take the corpse, and the kid jumped in the back, and he's following them to see what's going on. They carry his body in. The kid sneaks into the laboratory. Great art. This is really good stuff. So they operate on the corpse, and they put the hands on the cadaver that they have been preparing. And the poor kid is holding his father's hand, saying, "Please come back to me." And he's wondering, what is he doing? It's actually really sad. That's the sign of an excellent storyteller, for when you feel for a character, whether you hate the character, whether you love the character. If they can make you feel for it, the creator is doing his job. And this is pretty sad stuff when you really read it. Great double page spread, and this is when they flip the switch, and just like in the old time movie, it's alive. So the experiment succeeded. The kid is really bugging now, but he's kind of thinking, my father might be alive. He's wandering around trying to find him. He comes across this vat of dead body parts, and he's realizing, wow, Dr. Frankenstein is a monster. And he tries to find the creature, and he does, and he calls out to him like it's his father, but once he looks at him, he sees it's not. So they have a moment. The kid holds his hand. He thinks the monster is in pain. They communicate a very little. And then he pulls away. And he's even saying that doctor, he's a bad man. He's going to hurt people. He's got to end this. So the kid grabs a knife, and he goes to kill the doctor. But his helper stops him. Fritz is his name. Issue number 1. And we hit issue number 2. Another cool cover. Same team. And the story goes back and forth. It cuts to when Fritz is hunting down bodies. And he comes across, and he's robbing this guy. And then you'll see who this guy is in a little bit. So he's killed the guy, he's taking his money, and he's probably looking for a body part. He sees that the cops catches him. Get back here. He sees the dead body, he chases Fritz down and says, let's end this. Fritz stabs the cop. And he laughs at him and he says, you're a dead man. And he says, Paul, forgive me. And lights the dude on fire. The brain of a killer. It burns. It burns. So that cop, I believe, was the kid's father. This will have to make do. Abnormal brain. Actually, no, that's not Fritz. That's just a cop who came across a robber. And they both died. And he's, despite your incompetence, dear Fritz, we will persevere. After all, it's only a piece of dead tissue. What a great page right here of him implanting the brain into the monster. That's really nice. Great work. So his fiance and the father and his friend came here, and the father is, I am the doctor's, well, not, he's not the father. I am the doctor's old professor and mentor. The other two you've just encountered are his fiance and loyal friend, Victor. And Fritz says, well, I'm the assistant. And the doctor's like, well, you're an idiot. Now, the monster's alive. Fritz will teach you to behave. He's beating on the monster. Despicable creature. So, you know, people are abused, often abuse others. Enough, I've thought of all you people to understand this thing I am doing. So nobody approves of these experiments. They think it's diabolical and despicable. And Fritz is just trying to please his master, and he thinks he's helping. So he starts abusing the kid because he had caught him earlier, and he locks him in a room. So the kid says, well, Fritz thinks he can't get out because he won't dare climb out that window. But like a lot of young kids, he dared, and he falls. And he comes back, he says, I'm back, boy. And then he realizes, oh man, the kid's gone. He screwed up again. And he's like kind of like Fredo from The Godfather. He wants respect. And it turned the kid's underneath the window of the fiancé. And then Fritz, clang, 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 going around. Comes up to the monster, and he's like torturing him with fire. And the brain remembers the fire. It burns from the other guy who was caught on fire, the criminal. So he's got a criminal's brain. And sure enough, Fritz gets a little too close. And he snaps his neck with the chains. And also gets out. So Fritz is hanging. And the two doctors walk in and can see what's happened. And they're like, oh, man. The fiancé has left the building, and the kid jumped on the carriage and is taking a ride. That's the end of issue number 2. Issue number 3, another great cover. All right. So now, Dr. Frankenstein's friend is speaking with the fiancé. And they're really creeped out by what the doctor's doing. He's becoming obsessed, cold, distant. And the guy professes his love for her, and she just rejects him. You know, because he's a simp. Can I help you? Might be you can, sir. Might be. And this guy bashes him in the head. Now, this is where they got the brain from. That was a scene that had taken, it's jumping from past to future, past, future. It's jumping all over like a Pulp Fiction movie. So the kid's just listening to her complaining, and finally he jumps out and scares her. But she feels bad for the kid because obviously he's homeless and he's struggling. So she takes him in, she feeds him, talks to him, treats him nice, tells him the whole story of what's going on with her, about Dr. Frankenstein. Boom, flashback to the castle, Frankenstein's castle. Good old Fritz is hanging. Fritz was tormenting him, that's why he killed him. It's murder. So the other doctor says, you know what, we'll kill the creature. Get me a syringe and we'll fill it with some poison. That's a great panel. That little peek behind the door of the Frankenstein's monster. That traditional look. So, of course, the monster has a fear of fire, so they distract him with the fire. Boom. Get him with the syringe. He knocks the other doctor on his ass and grabs Dr. Frankenstein and choking the shit out of him. But he lets him go. Dr. Frankenstein wanders off. He's a mess. He's disheveled. The fiance takes him in. The kid is still there, but Dr. Frankenstein's father doesn't like the kid and wants to get rid of him. He's trying. So they had knocked the Frankenstein out. And now they're like kind of experimenting on him, cutting him open, you know. They just can't leave the body alone, I guess. And then Frankenstein strangles him. So another one dead. And the little kid had gotten caught. Actually, the Baron, the Frankenstein's father, had one of the men who worked for him take the kid to the authorities. He just wanted to get rid of the kid. He's pissed off because she's pissed off. The father tells her, hey, we got rid of that kid, and she's not real happy about it. But he tells her, you're not my daughter yet. So basically, shut your mouth and mind your own business. Dr. Frankenstein and the fiance have a back and forth. Things are tense. It's Dr. Waldman, Henry, the monster. Now he knows that the monster murdered his buddy there. And she's like, what is going on here? And while she's just contemplating like what she's going to do, the monster gets into the room. And I think he's trying to communicate with her, and he just... And then she passes out. And he leaves her laying there. He doesn't kill her. He just leaves her laying there. Issue number 4 with a great, it looks like Jenny Frison cover. I really wish they would tell you. It just tells you who does the additional covers, but that's definitely a Jenny Frison cover. It's barbaric. It is necessary. So they're about to hang a criminal. And this is past tense. And they should, that's my one gripe, is they're not doing a good job of past, present, of explaining what's what. You got to really figure that out for yourself. And the way you do is the clothing she's wearing. That's how I say it. So they hang this common criminal, but Frankenstein sees he likes the eyes. The guy's got green eyes. And it shows you what he's doing. Pluck the eyeball out. The eyes of a monster. So the monster's loose, and he's roaming around. There's the green eyes. In the classic scene with in the movie with Boris Karloff, when he comes across the little girl, I'm Maria, will you play with me? And he hands her the flower, and he's fine, and he wants to play, and he's having fun, and he just doesn't understand the fragility of the human condition. So he thinks he's playing, and he just throws her into the river, and she drowns and dies. I shouldn't laugh at that, but, and then he realizes, oh boy, he's realizing he screwed up. Somebody comes across him and says, what the hell? Maria, it's the father. Oh, my darling. And he realizes she's dead, my sweet baby. So now the town folk are getting riled up to the house of Frankenstein. They're pissed off. They know what he's been doing. It was a deformed monster, and the little kid's like, oh, it's alive. He must have thought he was dead. First it was Fritz, then he came for you, and now, just a little girl, an innocent child, I did this. So Frankenstein is realizing, he took it a little too far. And here comes the angry mob with the pitchforks and the torches. The little boy is in the middle of it, and they tell him, get out of here, go home. But he don't have a home. So Frankenstein finds the monster first, and he says, I casually thought to create life, but in all of my equations, I forgot the one thing that cannot be found in science. You have no soul. I must destroy you, my child, my monster, and then we both may rest. So they fight a little bit, and the monster just slaps him around like he's nothing. But he doesn't kill him. Maybe he has some kind of odd sense of loyalty. Carries him off. And there's the little kid. He finds them. And he says, will you kill him? And he just walks away with the body, with Dr. Frankenstein. And here comes the town folks. And he's ready to toss him off the side of the building that he's in. I guess it's a windmill. And he does, but he lands on one of the arms. Falls off. He's still alive. So he's not dead. He didn't kill him. We have the killer. Burn the mill. Frankenstein is in the mill. Enough. Burn it. That's a great panel that shows distress. Really good stuff right there. Great page, great panel. Windmills burning. And the kid sheds a tear. He feels bad for the monster. This whole story all the way around, everything is just sad. And the doctor awakens, Dr. Frankenstein, and he says, wait, I need to see. He wants to see the body. Please, give me a moment alone. Who do you cry for, doctor? For the girl, Maria, or could it be for that creature made from the pieces of my father? Now the little kid's got a very sharp object in his hand, and he's contemplating whether or not to kill him. And Frankenstein asks him, do you mean to kill me? I will not try to stop you. And as they're talking, the windmill's burning. You're not the only person who's lost someone. I was a fool to stare without hesitation into that blinding light at the heart of life, to lash out against the nature of the world. Please, will you forgive me? I didn't mean... And the kid's gone. So the kid comes by the father of the little girl that was lost. Do you see them? And he sees two horses. And he remembers his father gave him a wooden horse. And he says, I do. And the last panel is a father who lost a daughter and a child who lost a father. And it looks like they might be bonding. The end. So hopefully it ended well for that little kid, because I feel bad for him. Great covers. Just a quality book. Nice stock, cardstock covers. Great art. Really great storytelling. Nice version of an old tale. I loved it. I thought it was excellent. Highly recommended. I'll do one on the Invisible Man once all 4 issues come out. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.